fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
To my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare starring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me with...
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Arsenal News. We are back once again with another episode. So I hope everyone is doing well. James is meant to be joining me. He was there. Now he's gone. He's done a magic trick. It's amazing. Just disappeared. Big up to King. Hope you're doing well. 4 players left. Sambi, Cedric, Holding, and Pepe 2. Yeah, we'll get into this. I promise. Big up everyone. Hope that person in Spain gets sacked as soon as possible. 100%. 100%. Evening to Tony, hope you're doing well, and evening to Moss, hope you're doing well too. Ajax Arsenal, exactly. You can't beat a bit of Ajax, especially me anyway. I love Ajax. So let's get into the news, and thankfully I get to do this. It is official. We have signed Codina. Big up to James. I know James is going to know so much about this signing as well.
Yep, absolutely loads.
For people that don't know, she's a 23-year-old centre-back that played for Barcelona. We have signed her. I think the deal is around £200,000. I need confirmation on that, but I'm pretty sure it's around the £200,000 mark. And obviously, she has just won the World Cup with Spain. So we've actually got a World Cup winner at the Arsenal ladies. So big up to Codina. Well, I've got some little bits of details as well. She will wear the number 27 shirt. She has played for AC Milan as well. She played in the Champions League. She made 4 appearances at the World Cup. Look, she's a very, very good centre-back. Her alongside Ilstedt is going to be interesting defensive wise. Now all I ask for Jonas is please sign me a goalkeeper and then I'll be happy. I'll be happy with the window for the women's, to be honest. Just sign me a goalkeeper. Just can't be dealing with it. James, I know you've probably got nothing much to say, but in terms of who we're signing, like she's a World Cup winner. She's just won it with Spain. It's pretty impressive that Arsenal managed to get someone like that.
Sure. Yep. I mean, based on her credentials, she seems very good. You know, she was obviously playing in the World Cup for Spain. As far as I'm aware, I didn't really notice her that much. So
Yeah.
If you're a central defender and I don't notice you that much, maybe it's a good sign. So, you know, it means you haven't done anything wrong. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, if you're happy, I'm happy. And if it's a good signing for Arsenal, then, you know, you're the guy that to trust. So we'll see. We'll see. I know
I'm
he
sorry,
wanted a new
mate.
centre-back and a new
I don't
goalie.
mean to set you up, but obviously this literally broke today, so obviously this had to
Yeah,
get
it's all right.
into the
It's
Arsenal
all right.
news.
It's fine. It's fine.
Back at the office, finally. Hot day here today. Good. Glad it's nice and warm in Canada. It's back to England, rainy and cold. Tony's not in Spain. Good for you. Good for you, Tony. We've been going all the way this year. Yep. Hopefully, we just need, honestly, I just need a goalkeeper and I'll be happy. Welcome, Codina, exactly. Evening to Temiola. Evening to Sebastian as well. Serious question. Okay. You know what, Temi? I'm going to leave that because I have actually got something to talk to James about the midfield. And it's nothing to do with what he put in the group WhatsApp earlier. However, there is a serious chat that I was going to have with him anyway. But yes, that will be perfect timing for that question as well. So I will go through that, I promise. I thought it might have been us going for England goalkeeper. Well, who knows who put the bid in for Mary Earps, but we'll soon find out because I've got a feeling there's going to be another one going in. Welcome, Codina. Hope she does well for us. So do I. I think her and Ilstedt will be absolutely incredible. Moss saying here, to be honest, I've seen D'Angelo play for us and she's been all right, but she's still not great. And I know she's like the third choice goalkeeper for Canada, but if we get Mary Earps, I'll be dancing on stream, mate. I will be delighted with Russo up front. My season is salty with the Arsenal women's. Right, let's move on to something that James will be not comfortable talking about, but he can talk about it. Arsenal are waiting to see how much will be offered for Gabriel. So Gabriel's situation is not looking any more rosy. I had a chat with everyone this morning about it. Look, I think we might have shot ourselves in the foot when we offered him a new contract and then offer Saliba a contract that is double the amount. It doesn't take much for him to turn his head. You know, he's on £100,000, which is less than Tierney, less than Ben White, less than Ramsdale, less than quite a few of our players, unfortunately. And that was a new contract signed in, was it November last year? It was late last year, wasn't it? So yeah, it's. Let's just wait and see. I got a feeling he will, if the bid comes in and it's enough for Arsenal to accept. I know that James, I think you had 80 million, didn't you, in your head? But we got to wait and see. I know Arsenal got a backup plan if this does go through, and I'm totally chill about that. So I'm not too bothered if he does go, because I know we will sign someone. But if not, what should we be doing with him? Should we be offering him a new contract?
If he's annoyed about the wage, pay him 50 grand more.
Yeah,
simple. You know, if it's a wage thing, just pay him. He deserves it. Gabriel at this stage in the window cannot leave. There is nobody on the market, and I know you'll probably talk about someone that you want to bring in. Yeah. For me, even that player that you're interested in, I rate them, but I don't think they're on the level as Gabriel. So for me, this is one of those the money has to be obscene for us to even contemplate it. So that's why I said 80 million, and that's a minimum for me.
His market value is around 55. Like a normal bid would be 55 million pounds for him. So yeah, 80 million for me is about right. I'd probably accept 75 at push, but yeah, 80 million, I'll be well happy with that. His market value is 55, so that's pretty good anyway. We signed him for how much? 20 something? 27?
20. No, he's still young. I think he's 25 or 26.
Now, how much did we sign him for?
30.
Was it 30? Yeah. To be honest, and this stream is actually not talking about any incoming. So the player that I think we will go and get is Mark Gay. This is pretty much an out show. It's pretty much everyone's leaving, which is good. I'm quite happy about that at the moment. What's Moss saying here? He's not chill. Tony doing a bit of Kylie Minogue. I should be so lucky to get 100,000. I can't remember those lyrics in Kylie's song, but good shout. But yeah, I know what you mean. Look, it is what it is. Let's be honest. £100,000 a week is in our world is amazing. In football world, when his defensive partner is getting double the amount, it is going to upset. And that's what I said. I think Arsenal made a slight error there. If they knew how much Saliba wanted, they should have gone a bit higher with Gabriel, so there was a bit of comfort for Gabriel, because he's not going to be happy about that. And Saudi Arabia could offer him obscene amounts of money. ESR or Gabriel need to stay. We'll get onto ESR very shortly, because that's, whilst I've been waiting for James to join, something has happened as well, so we'll get into that. Gabriel should be angry at his agent. Yes, true. However, I think if Arsenal, and I'm pretty sure Arsenal knew how much Saliba wanted, they should have gone, okay, well, we're going to offer Saliba this amount of money. We're going to have to go in 150 just to keep Gabriel happy, because double the amount, double. It's not just slightly, it's double the amount. It's crazy, because Gabriel, for me, was the better centre-back last season. That's just my opinion. He was better than Saliba over the whole period. Gabriel was the better defender. Add another year or two, increase some, and a new signing basis. You know, there's loads of different ways we can do it, but at the moment, we're going to wait and see if there's a bid that comes in. Bobby, he agreed the wage. If I agreed a wage and found out someone was getting more, that's hard luck for me. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I totally get it. However, Arsenal knew how much Saliba wanted. That's where I think they should have just gone, let's nip this in the bud now. Brazil centre-back would be happy then. No way, man. Not even for both of them. Oh, okay. So he doesn't want to sell either of them. We need to talk about ESR, and we'll get onto that in a minute. 22 million is what Gabriel costs. I thought he was in the 20s.
It's 27, 30 million euros. So I got the mistake at 30 million euros. So you were right when you said 25, 27.
Thank you. Sorry, I was thinking 30, but you know, I always trust you anyway, James, because you're my go-to man. Sorry, I like Gabriel, but Saliba is better, says Tony. Okay. What do you make of that? Do you think Gabriel's better than Saliba?
No, Saliba's levels above, but Gabriel had a better season, so I agree with what you said. It's like I don't know. Imagine Virgil van Dijk at the level he was, 23 years old, 22 years old. It's like trying to compare a talent at that level to any other centre back in world football. For me, there just isn't a comparison. So, yeah, I think he's better, but it's more of a comparing Gabriel to Saliba is like comparing one of the world's best defenders to a very, very, very good defender. The margins are quite large, but saying that is Gabriel doesn't mean Gabriel's a really bad defender. It's just the level Saliba is.
How old's Van Dijk now? Is he 30 or 31?
31? I don't know. Let me Google it. 32. Jesus.
Is he 32? Because I guarantee you, I'll put money on this. Saliba will be better than Van Dijk is now, as in current state, because Van Dijk's downhill.
I'd say the conversation, I think, for around Saliba, this is off topic. I think Saliba has the potential to be the greatest of all time centre back. But for me, in terms of prime, the best centre back I've seen in my age, obviously I'm 24 now, so the best centre back I've seen prime is Van Dijk, followed by Ramos. So it just really depends on how he has a talent. Can he get there? We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, unfortunately, James, you missed out on the really golden era of centre backs like the Maldinis, Costa Curtis, Adams at his prime as well. It's such a shame actually, because there are so many good centre backs. Franco Baresi as well was awesome. I loved him. ESR was just unlucky with all injury issues. Madness if we sell. Gabriel is a good defender. I don't think Arsenal doubt that he's not a good defender. I think it's a case of his head's been turned. If the money comes in that's right for Arsenal, then we'll agree to the sale, and then we'll buy someone else in. And we'll talk about ESR very shortly, I promise. Gabriel had a better season, but Saliba got higher potential. Totally agree with that. Yeah, totally agree. I'm just saying for last season, to then only get 100,000, which is still less than Ben White and still less than a lot of our players, is a bit of a joke, if I'm honest. If you know, that's just my opinion. So what if all players say, I want what Havertz is getting, do we say okay? There's levels to like, what you can ask for. And there's Havertz has taken a pay increase from Chelsea, which annoys a lot of people anyway. And he is on the 280 base, which again is annoying. He's more than Jesus. I'm going to wait to the end of the window to talk about Havertz in a transfer chat, because there's stuff I know and there's stuff that's going to annoy you, and I'll wait until the window's closed to do that. But yeah, Havertz. Yeah, let's just move on. Saliba already there. Number 2 on the red and gold. James, you're only a boy. Maldini is the best centre back I have seen. Yeah, he's definitely one of mine that I've seen. Yeah, Nesta, Desai, Vidic, Ferdinand. I think James, you're probably old enough to see Vidic.
Yeah, I remember Vidic, Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I remember.
Yeah, Cannavaro was so good, Nesta, etc. Maldini left back. He was very comfortable at the centre back, though, Moss. Let's be honest. Yes, he could play left back very, very well. Left centre back very, very well. But he was a very comfortable centre back as well. Let's not be pedantic about it, shall we? My boy deserves it. We'll wait till the window's closed and I'll chat about it. 100,000 was an underpayment. 130 to 150, maybe Arsenal did so they could sell Gabriel easier. That's a good shout, but I don't think it's wise. Tony going way back. I can't even say his name. Frank McClintock. There we go. Right, let's get on to ESR. There has been developments within the last hour as well. Chelsea have been turned down by Arsenal, and I have put however. West Ham are also interested. They're expecting to come in with a bid, and Chelsea are expected to come back to Arsenal with. Are you ready for this? Because this is going to be funny. The Arsenal fan base will be crazy about this. A swap deal. Who would you take out of the Chelsea team, James?
Jesus, that's available because there's players I'd want that just aren't going to leave.
There's talk of Mudryk. Mudryk's being mentioned for some bizarre reason.
You give me Mudryk and 50 million, I'll think about it.
Oh, Tony's saying Mudryk as well. Look, I don't see us doing business with Chelsea, if I'm honest. I know Chelsea are trying, but look. If I'm going to sell him, I'm going to sell him to West Ham. Simple as that. Give us Enzo and Caicedo. I would take Caicedo in a heartbeat over ESR. I'm sorry, but I would.
See, like if it was a swap deal of Mudryk and Colwill for Smith Rowe, then yes,
you'd say Colwill.
Yeah. But he ain't gonna go. I mean, you know.
Yeah. And there we go. King saying Maldini played centre back with Nesta for many years, as well as also, yeah, exactly. Maldini was as we all know, a centre back, but he could play very comfortably as left back. And Jaap Stam was also, Jaap Stam was one of those centre backs you just would not want to be a striker up against. He was a monster, a bit like Vidic. So yeah, we've got to see what happens with ESR. He's hardly features for us, let's be honest. I don't see a role for him at the moment either, if I'm honest. Do you see a role for him?
Smith Rowe? It's difficult. It's really difficult. Because for me, he needs to play right centre mid next to Saka. That's where he should play. Just because him and Saka get the best out of each other, I think. So that's where I'd play him. Obviously, he can pretty much play left centre mid, right centre mid, on both wings and centre forward if we needed to, like as a false 9. But it just depends if Arteta, sees him in the team. Like I'll be real, there are very few people in this team that I consider untouchable. There's probably 2 that I'd say I consider untouchable in this team, which are Saka and Saliba. If anyone else in this team has a price, so. For me, Emil Smith Rowe has a price, and people are going to be annoyed if we were to sell him to Chelsea, hypothetically. Touchwood, we don't. But if we were to, there gets to a point when you can't say no. So, for example, if Chelsea are offering 60 to 70 million for Smith Rowe, for me, you have to accept it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no matter how good you think Smith Rowe is, I don't think he's a talent that's going to peak worth more than that valuation.
Yeah.
So, I'd consider it with a bit of heart. It just really depends on how much of an overpay it is.
Right. So his market value, I'm just looking up now, is 35 million.
So we're talking ballpark figure probably in this market 50 million plus an overpay.
Okay.
So I mean we rejected Villa last summer for 40 million, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was high 30s to 40 million.
Yeah, it's about the Brendia price, I think. Yeah.
So like if we're talking then we don't have to sell, plus it's end of the window and it's Chelsea. So I mean if it's 70 million and it allows us to recoup the funds and we can, improve the team, I'm for it. It just depends on the money we get and who we're bringing in. Because if we're selling him and then not bringing anyone in, then there's no point in selling him. So
yeah. Tony's saying here, I'm sorry, I know he's higher end, but he is behind Trossard, Vieira, and Nelson. I think he's very far down the pecking order. So yeah, why not cash in if we can? We don't need Mudryk. I'm guessing King's slightly behind on live, so pick up to you, King. Please don't say McGallagher.
no,
What's his name? Gallagher.
Conor Gallagher, yeah.
Yeah, nah, not for me. You just don't let your Hal enders go to rivals. Yeah, well, that's the big issue. Arsenal do class Chelsea as a rival, so yeah, that has been a big stumbling block so far.
I feel like you do if the money's right. Like for me, there's very few teams I wouldn't sell to. There's probably 2 teams I wouldn't sell to, and Chelsea aren't one of them.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know about you. Would you sell to Spurs or United or no? Because I don't consider Chelsea on that same level as hatred towards
the only team I wouldn't sell to is Man City.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's the only team that I class as a rival.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, who's the other team that you wouldn't sell to?
So I would sell to City if the price was right. I wouldn't sell to United or Tottenham. Those are the 2 teams I wouldn't consider selling to.
Well, I'd say United in such a mess right now. They could have Jesus and still be a mess.
It's less of the implications of selling Smith Rowe to those 2 teams. It's more of the bitterness I have towards those 2 teams, especially United in the past when they've brought some of our players. So I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Everyone knows my bitterness towards the City, so I think it's probably it's a personal thing who you class as a rival. But right now it's City because I can't stand them. Just cannot stand them. King saying ESR could be back up to Martinelli and Havertz, 100%. However, don't forget we have been linked with Fati. Which would make sense if we're going to sell Smith Rowe and put in a loan bid or some kind of weird bid for Fati. You never know. Look, this window, what day are we on? Tuesday. We've still got 3 or 4 days. Anything can happen. Trust me, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. It's craziness. Me and BX wanting ESR for Kai's spot right now. Right now, I'd say Vieira's the man for it personally, but that's just me.
It's funny. It's funny as well. How many people in our chat specifically have said Vieira needs a loan or he's not good enough.
How good was he on?
Yeah, but I've been trying to tell people, but he's too lightweight and nobody believes it. He's so good when he turns it on. He was unreal.
He was fabulous at the weekend, absolutely fabulous. It just made me smile, but no one mentioned him, did they? And I love the fact that no one mentioned him, but they would also not mention how good he was as well. They just want to I think people have got agendas for some people for some reason. I don't know why. Little puzzler, how come we sell good to Chelsea but they don't return the favour? I think Jorginho was quite a good buy, if I'm honest. Havertz about right, that was like pretty much on spot on market value. But Jorginho, I think we've got quite a bit of a bargain there, to be honest. That's just me, though. I hate Chelsea as much as any. Nearly spuds. Fair enough, boss. I'd sell to anyone for the right price and get a better player. fair enough. Why are people picking on my boy? I'm going to get into him very shortly. There is a little bit that I want to talk to James about, which is going to be positive towards Havertz. So I'm not one of those ones that are just hating on him just for the sake of it. Me and Bobby were the only ones saying Fabio. James was as well, but this was before me and you must have met James. So in fairness, I'm going to pull James into that as well. Fabio will wait a year and then this season figure it out and crush it. To be honest, mate, he looks absolutely impeccable. He looked fantastic. Good call, Bobby. I forgot Georgina and my boy. Yeah, exactly. Who will buy if ESR goes? Vlahovic. Right now, I don't see any striker coming in because we're planning something for next summer. There is some movement being made on the signing for next summer. So I don't see a striker coming in because it makes no sense. It's only one match. Don't get carried away. It's just his movement, his everything about him was just different from what we've seen. His confidence was there as well with Vieira. He just looked amazing. Yes, we could say, yes, it was against Fulham, but it was just everything that I've seen about him before he came to Arsenal is exactly what I saw. So I'm happy. And even Arteta says he's got it slightly wrong on him. Ivan Toney, not for me, still not happening. There's still no links. And I say there's no links as in people I trust to listen to. I know there's a lot of stuff in the press, but there's no one I trust that is saying it to me. So I'm not going to say it. Evan Ferguson, Bobby is saying, no, I'm not. There's been some movement. We'll wait and see. We'll talk about that when it comes out. But yeah, James is probably going, who's that now? But we'll wait and see. Right, let's talk about some more exits. Obviously, Tavares has been announced that he will be signing on loan to Forest in the next 24 or 48 hours, probably tomorrow, to be honest. It's a 1 million loan fee. I think it's slightly above that. It's like 1.2 million, something like that. And then with a 12 million buy option. So not the 30 million that everyone was talking about, which is hilarious on Twitter. Are you happy about Tavares going to Forest on loan?
I'm not really happy about it being a loan, but I'm okay with him going out. I'd much rather it been the 13 million quid now because let's be real, if we're in a position where if we would have sold him this summer and he bangs and he does really, really well, we would have been like, look, do you know what? Fair enough, we got the money in and we made the decision then. But now it's out of our hands again, which I don't like, is in the sense of if he does really well, he then looks like a more than a £12 million player, which I believe he will turn out to be at some point in his career. Or he doesn't do well at Forest and then he comes back and now what do we do with him? So I would have personally liked to take the 13 million now. I'm just, it's it's just disappointing that it originally fell through as a buy permanent transfer because we could have used the funds this summer, I think.
Yeah, true. Look, I'm going to rate the window when the window's closed because I need to see what we're going to do with the rest of the few days. But currently, I'm not happy that the players that have got value, we haven't got the money for, i.e. Tierney. We've got nothing for him, really. It's a loan. Tavares, it's a loan. It's $1 million. You're not going to do much for that. And you have to have FFP. You have to have FFP in the back of your mind that it kind of tightens our budget, what we can actually do for the rest of the window. So at the moment, it's not looking great. This is why I'm quite happy with ESR if he was to be sold, because that's actual money. We wouldn't have to replace him either, because I don't think he's in our plans, if I'm honest. So that's actual extra money. Let's quickly talk about Rob Holding. There's links with Luton, there's links with Wolves, there's links with Seville, there's links with Mallorca. Where do you think Rob Holding should go for him?
Anywhere but Arsenal.
Okay, it's one of those. I think he'd suit Wolves, personally. I think the style of play that they play is perfect for him. Plus, he's in England. Plus, I get to go and see him, which is always a bonus for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I just feel like it's time for him to move on, for both him and us. So that's what I do. As long as he gets game time and he does well, then it doesn't really matter to me where he goes.
Yeah. Let's quickly gloss over Lokonga. Obviously, that's not going to happen to Brighton now because they have signed their number one target, Bieber, whatever his name is, from Lille. I don't know what his name is. So we've got to find a buyer for Lokonga. I got a feeling that's going to be a loan again. A horrible feeling. Now, this is where me and you, mister, have to have a discussion. What are you on about keeping him?
I mean, if it's for 6 months or a season, I don't mind it. Let's be real. There's more pressing issues than signing a midfielder right now, and I think he's a Premier League quality midfielder. So I'd rather keep him personally. Look, he's got 3 years left on his deal. If we can't find a, how do you call it, a permanent deal or a loan with an obligation, I feel like it makes sense to keep him. Because if we're in the market for a 6 or an 8, like a hybrid 6+8, we have one already in house. That's already got experience at the Premier League level, and also had a loan to Palace. I know he didn't play much games, but when he did play, he looked not half bad. So I think we have more pressing issues than a centre midfielder. So there's a caveat to this: is if we can't find someone to take him, and if we kept him and it meant we signed a right back and a right wing, I'd keep Lokonga.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at. I'm not saying he's around for long term because I don't believe his future is here. But if you're talking about I don't know, let's say hypothetically, one of touch wood, this doesn't happen, but Partey gets injured hypothetically, that means Declan Rice is now permanently the 6. And if you need someone to play more box to box, who do we have? You know, he just gives us more tools to our belt, should I say?
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. Quickly talk about Pepe. He does not want to go to Turkey, so that's not happening. There's talk, I think it's coming from Germany, that there's a couple of clubs looking at Pepe now. But this situation, I just think will rumble on until transfer deadline day. And if it doesn't happen by transfer deadline day, then I think the day after, Arsenal will then tear up his contract. That's what I think will happen. I think we're trying to get some money. If we can't, then we're going to get rid of him anyway because it's saving loads of money on wages. He's a nightmare. I think that's all of them, isn't it? I think that we've covered everyone. I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's quickly get into the comments.
Balogun? We talk about
Balogun?
the
Balogun. Yeah, that's done. It's just literally waiting for it to be announced. So there's nothing to worry about on Balogun. Obviously, Tierney was announced Sunday. So yeah, but Balogun's done. So he's already off. So I'm not going to waste my time talking about him. Can't judge a player who joined with injuries, missed pre-season, only got 6 months senior football and expects him to bang immediately. I'm going to take out the senior football part because he's been playing football for a long time in Portugal. But yeah, I agree. He did come with an injury. It's a whole new style of football. It's culture and everything. Yes, he did look bad sometimes, but he definitely showed a lot of glimpses to me of the player that he was last season. Now he's literally came on and just well, it's a marvelous substitution for me personally. But that's just me. It's better for us, James and Bobby, because he gets to show with Forest he can do it in the Prem, so we can make some money. Yeah, we won't make any more money than the 12 million because that's kind of set. I don't think he will make it in the Prem, if I'm honest. I'll be honest. He's going to make a great left winger, and this is what I think he should just change his position. It'd be great. He's just not a defender at all. You never know. He might bang and we get 30 million and £1. That'd be nice. We will get a right winger if we sell ESR. Surely we need more in attack. Well, this is the thing. I hope so. Let's see what happens with Fatty. I think Fatty are pretty much our only shout at the moment. But you know, Arsenal, they never know. You never know. They might be doing something behind the scenes. Arsenal like to surprise a few people. Weren't Forest going to buy him, but Tavares said no. Absolutely no, wasn't the case. It was more to do with the structure of the deal in the first one. No one was happy with it. So now it's turned into a loan with an option. I think Forest, to be honest, haven't got as much money as people think they have. Luton, so he's obviously talking about holding. I know Tony wouldn't be happy if he went to Luton. Not you, Tony. Our Tony, the Armoury Tony. He wouldn't be happy if he went to Luton at all. We'd be stuck with Lokonga. It looks like that. Nobody wants Slokonga, says Demi. James, I can get you a nice cushion to keep the bench warmer cheap. Lokonga. He's trying to get him a contract cut. What about Cedric? Well, nothing. Absolutely nothing about Cedric. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I reckon, again, contract will be terminated, if I'm honest. Lokonga, dry loan, Brighton. No, because Brighton have got their player now. Lokonga was the second option. They got the first option, so they won't be moving on Lokonga now. James, I respect opinion more, but losing to Tony. Oh, right, he's on about FPL. Okay, let's move on from that. So when Nuno bangs and teams want him from Forest, we will reconvene then, he will be sold for the money that we've agreed, so the 12 million option. We won't make any more money. I very much doubt there's a sell-on clause in his contract, where there might be, but not that I know of. Guendouzi's, yeah, we get 2.3 million from the Guendouzi deal. Which is great. 2.3 million buys you nothing nowadays. Right, let's move on to the next talking point. Loan watch. I'm going to quickly cover some of these. So I've got them all on here. Norton Coffey made his debut, played 68 minutes of Millwall's 1-0 win. Charlie Patino played 71 minutes of Swansea City's defeat to Preston North End. Tyrese John Jules came on for 9 minutes against Peterborough. When Bandera came on in the 86th minute for Colchester, so he's hardly played. Billy Vigar, he's honestly, I swear he's joined the worst team in that league. I'm sure they've not won since he's joined. Freya Godfrey, she came on for Charlton in the 64th minute in Charlton's 1-1 draw with Sheffield United. Marquinhos was an unused substitute. Kind of tells you everything about Marquinhos. Serjan played in the 5-3 win away to, I am not going to try and say that name. Another team. I don't know who that is. And Runnison, did he play? No, they were both unused substitutes. He playing today? Yeah, so Runnison was an unused substitute. Right, so there we go. That makes more sense.
He's making his debut today, if it helps.
Or is he making his debut? Oh, jeez.
Today, yeah.
Temi saying Tavares is worth 40 million. I said it when it was put in our group WhatsApp. Someone said that there was a link about 30 million for Tavares. I was like, what? I heard it was closer to 20. It's pretty much market value for Tavares. That's pretty much his market value is 13 million. Apparently, Patino is smashing it in the Championship. He's doing okay. There's been no grave reports about him, if I'm honest.
And he's gotten 2 assists. So.
Yeah, but again, the manager has also said he's got a bit of a problem with his attitude, which is what's happened at Blackpool. So I hope he kind of ekes that out a little bit. So yeah, then Forest will own Nuno and we will lose out, is what I meant. As I was right about Patino, right about Nwaneri, right about TP5, and I'll be right about Marquinhos too. Okay. Well, Patino's on loan. Nwaneri, unless you hadn't missed all the talk about it, how close he was signed for Chelsea was Arsenal were prepared for him to leave for Chelsea. TP5, I have been very careful not to talk about the rumours that have been going on about TP5 because Arsenal fans will go in a meltdown. There has been bids from Turkey and they have been extremely low. And Arsenal have requested a certain amount, which is not much more than what Turkey have offered. And so, yeah, it was very close for him leaving, if I'm honest. But there we go. Never mind. Bobby, James, as we were linked with Diaby and Kudu, do you think that's going to come back and bite us on the bum? Kudu, I think, will. Diaby, possible. I still think he could have done something at Arsenal, personally. What about you, James?
Nah, I'm not too worried about them.
Fair enough.
If they're coming to play right wing, I don't. For me, it's nice to have rotation, but if you're talking however much Villa pay for Diaby, which I think was like £45 million, maybe more, and how much West Ham are paying for Kudus. Kudus is looking more of a better deal, but all in all, you're probably talking about 45 million quid for Kudus. I'm pretty sure because of the sell-on clause and bonuses and add-ons and everything. So, maybe, but the way I see it is Saka is the Salah to our team in terms of he plays every game, every minute. Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'd rather spend 45 million quid somewhere else instead of a right wing rotation, even though I think we should still get right wing rotation or attacking rotation. But I just feel like that was too much.
Yeah, fair enough. Clock Orange saying Patino is our left centre midfielder next season. We'll have to sell one out of ESR, Odegaard, and Vieira next season, says Clock Orange. That is a interesting take. We kept them until you told me I was wrong about it, is all I'm saying. Moss, this is called Arsenal News Updates and Paper Talk. There is Paper Talk in this show as well. I tell you what is going on in the world of rumours, just like other shows you listen to as well, Moss, who are also journalists. So also I'm saying I'm just passing out what's being mentioned. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I tell certain people what's happening. And I was the only one that was very confident about a certain Declan Rice. Even James wobbled a little bit. James wobbled a little bit on our side of him. I was
less worried. It's funny. I was less worried about City and more worried about Bayern Munich.
It's mad, isn't it? Kudu, oh man, I wish so much we got that. Yeah, well, that's the one that I think we've missed out on. Codina and Ilstedt, we're looking good, Bobby. All that's on up front. Yeah, exactly. It starts October the 1st. It starts October the 1st. Right. Quickly talk about the Arsenal ladies. We are back in training. Beth Mead's back. Everyone's back. Russo's back. I just can't wait. It's literally just over a month to go till kickoff. As far as I'm aware, I'm not 100% sure because I need to check the schedule, but I should be able to do the first game, which is against Liverpool, as a watch along because I think it is international break. I might be wrong, but I should be able to do it. Bobby, if you told me it's Christmas Day, I believe you. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, Meady's ready. She is ready. Well, to be fair, she was very close to being ready for the World Cup. Just slightly too late. Right, let's quickly talk about the midfield conversation. This is the last thing. Right. I'm going to get into the question first because I've been busy doing other stuff behind the scenes like I always do. Right. Serious question. What does Havertz do in midfield that ESR doesn't do? I'll be so disappointed if you've been the top talent just to accommodate a poorly performing Havertz. I'm going to let you answer that question first. Then I've got some stats that people will be interested in hearing.
If I'm being real, I see Havertz as a forward. So for me to answer this question is kind of difficult. Obviously, Havertz offers good link-up play, great technical ability, and he has an eye for goal and he's creative. It's just, can he work on turning into a midfielder? Because I still see him playing the attacking side of Granit Xhaka. And what I don't see is him dropping deep and contributing in build-up, which means we're, a bit slower in terms of getting the ball progressing up the field, which I feel like you can see throughout the first 3 games of the season. We seem to be a lot less, vertical than we once were when we had Xhaka there. So I think Smith Rowe is more suited to that because he is more along the mold of a Trossard, where he's a combination player. He likes to link up with all of our players and actually contribute 1-2 quick passes, whereas Havertz seems to be more of a I don't want to call him just a second striker because he's not. But when he's playing that midfield role, it feels like he doesn't contribute as much. And maybe that's a time thing. I personally see him as a centre forward, so that's where I saw him before we bought him, and I still believe that. But I mean, if Arteta is playing him as a left centre midfielder, then I guess that's what he is for now, anyway. So it's more of a I won't judge him too quickly because I'll hold the same principles I held for Fabio Vieira because I believed in his talent before. And it's more of a wait and see what happens, but I don't think he justifies starting him week in, week out yet. I feel like he needs to earn his place. So we'll have to see, but I personally see him as a forward long term. So I mean, I guess I got to be convinced otherwise. Whereas Smith Rowe is an 8 for me.
Okay. So currently, do you think Havertz is playing the Xhaka role from last season?
No, because we're not trying to utilize Havertz in the Xhaka role. I just feel like it's the Xhaka role suited Xhaka because it was made for Xhaka, whereas we're trying to play differently, so I can't call it the Xhaka role, and I don't want to call it the Xhaka role because the system we're playing is different, which is putting a weird spin on it. Because I'm like me, I'm trying. You're comparing the two because they're playing the same area, and you're missing what we once had, which is kind of ironic to say about Granit Xhaka when so many wanted him to leave, right? So it's just I don't know. I feel like he's playing a different role, and we're figuring that out.
Okay. This is going to be the interesting part. I do a lot of stats, and I go very in deep for this. Boss, I'm going to have to question what you're watching because BRF looking good here. I'm pretty sure he's injured.
He's out for 3 months, Moss.
Yeah, so whoever you're watching, I promise you it's not my Mika. I guarantee it.
He's putting the beer in BRF because he's had too many of them, I reckon.
Yeah. And I'm going to not mention that, James, you've currently got Paxton Road on your screen.
No, I don't. I was just taking a drink. So.
Right. Anyway, so I've compared all the touches that our midfield are making. Now, who do you expect has had the most touches in our midfield out of Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz?
Probably you would say Odegaard, but I'd say Rice.
By nearly 20 per game.
Well, who has Rice?
Yeah. 84 touches he has.
I thought so.
Then it's Odegaard on 66. Now, how close do you think Havertz is to
Havertz
Odegaard?
is going to be on like 35.
He's on 46.
Okay. It's higher than I
thought. So his passing accuracy compared to Odegaard and Rice, he's the second best. Who do you think is the worst out of passing accuracy out of the three?
Odegaard.
Correct. Havertz is on 89% passing accuracy. Odegaard's on 88 and Rice is on 93. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. I'll get to it at the end because I want to try and defend him. Kai has got the best passing accuracy in his own half on 100%. He's not made a single error in his own half. 84% in the opposition. Odegaard is on 81% in the opposition half for passing accuracy. As for all the other stats, all his stats are better than Odegaard. All of them. His XG, now people are expecting Kai to have scored goals or something like this. His XG, what do you expect his XG to have been right now? I know it's not something I like, but people like to use it against people.
Like 1.5?
No.
Not even close.
0.35.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that chance he stopped running for on that Saka cross yesterday should have been at like a 0.8.
Yeah, but it was a 0.35. Now, bear in mind, that Odegaard has got a XG of 1.03. Obviously, he's got a goal. And Declan Rice has got a 0.25. Bless him. He's all the way down there. But look, I'm using these stats because, look, Odegaard's not getting any stick at all. He's not been performing brilliantly. Not for me. He hasn't been performing brilliantly. Why is Kai getting all the stick? Is it because he's Chelsea? Is it because of the price?
It's a scapegoat thing, and I hate it because we do it all the time. People did it with Eddie. People did it with Xhaka. People did it with Vieira. It's people are looking for someone to blame when it's not even an individual basis. I think it's a team concentration issue. And I was trying to defend Havertz on the chat a while. I don't know if this is what spurred your defense of him, or if you've seen the same things I've seen on social media that has prompted you to do this.
Horrendous.
But look, I mean, I'm very high on Havertz in terms of a ceiling. It's just again, we have so many talented players within this team. It's more of an adjustment period than I think people want to, like make. £65 million in people's eyes is expensive, and it is, but you see the difference of when you're spending £100 million on someone and the recruitment is good, and when you're spending 60 million on a talented player that needs to adjust. Declan Rice has seamlessly transitioned from, West Ham to Arsenal because of the talent level he has. Jurrien Timber's done it, not just because of the talent level, but because of the model he was playing in at Ajax is very similar to how we operate. You're now taking Kai Havertz, who predominantly played as a centre forward, a second striker, or just a forward in general for Chelsea, and you try and convert him into a left centre midfield in our system. People are going to get pissed off at him for 3 games, right? You saw him against Man City. I thought he did really well as a centre forward, a striker against City. You saw the talent there. He did what he needed to do, and I just feel like it's a mix of people pay attention to what they want to pay attention to. As you said, Odegaard wasn't great on the weekend. Saka wasn't great on the weekend. Trossard was sloppy for large periods of points. It's more of a people want to see what they want to see, and I know that probably doesn't make sense, but Kai Havertz didn't cause us to lose that game.
No,
it was a back pass that should have been dealt with, and a lapse of concentration on the field when from a corner when Kai Havertz was. I don't think he was on the pitch at that point. I'm pretty sure he'd been substituted at that point.
Yeah,
no, he was because he was substituted for Vieira and Jorginho, I think. And Eddie. So I just feel like people need to be a bit patient, and I think this all stems between the expectations of this season now. And that's the difference between this season and last. Last season, people were, gutted and upset that we didn't get the title. But the first half of the season is probably some of the most fun I've seen our fan base have. Simply, yes, because we were winning, but how we were winning, in a sense. Whereas now, because of what we did last season and we challenged, and because of the recruitment of the summer, our expectations are higher. So when we don't do what we should be doing against no offense, in a lesser team compared to Fulham, and it doesn't work out, people are tense, and it then spurs them on to who's going to be the scapegoat for how I'm feeling for us not winning and not looking at it logically. So I just say, like as you said, Kai Havertz is adjusting, and he's not been as bad as people have made him out to be. He's probably been across all 3 Prem games, probably a 6.5 maybe, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you on it. I think that everyone needs to give their head a wobble a little bit, and if you're going to get this annoyed at over 3 games, what are you going to be like over a 60-game season, which we're hoping to have? And if you're not going to back the player, you can question him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't critique and question, but there's ways you do it, and going around the ways me and you have both seen on social media, it's just disgraceful, especially for someone that's just come in the club. Chelsea fans did this to him. Chelsea fans abused him. They were not happy with him, and they brought his confidence well down. So, if you want the best version of Havertz, we need to be better than them, and we need to be doing the opposite. So that's where I'm at with it, Bobby. I'm in the same thought process as you. He's been okay, but doesn't warrant what he's gotten from the fan base so far.
from what I've seen, and obviously I do a lot of stats, and I use my eyes as well. So before anyone jumps on me, everyone knows I use my eyes before I use stats. But the stats are better than Xhaka's for last season in the current position that he's playing in. So for me, it's going in the right way. Just needs to improve a little bit. And to be fair, Xhaka over the whole season per game averaged 53 touches per game. So Havertz is on 46. So it is comparable to the two of them. And his stats are better than Xhaka's, apart from the goals and the assists at the moment. But we're on coming up to game 4 now. So I'm chill about it. And also the other interesting fact, because Havertz seems to get blamed for everything, is he has lost possession the least out of our midfield. Odegaard has lost it the most. So again, this is not me, and I know Moss has been in the chat saying that talk about Odegaard. It's nothing. I'm not attacking Odegaard. I'm defending Kai. That's what I'm doing. I'm not attacking any of our midfielders. I'm not attacking any player, to be fair. The only player I never like is Chris Kwamya. I will stick by that for the rest of my life. Every other person that puts their Arsenal shirt on, I will defend, unless I can't. If I literally cannot defend him, then I won't. But I'm defending Kai because I have seen stuff. And look, I don't feel it's fair. You guys crazy. I'm at the office. I ain't boozing. And BRF, I just watched some highlights. He's out for 3 months as far as I'm aware. That is right, isn't it, James? BRF, he's out for 3 months.
That's what they said.
Like I said, Odegaard is Odegaard. Look, he is a very good player, but for me, he's not had the greatest 3 games. And to be fair, not a lot of our players have. But that's for a different show. It's a different chat for me. 89% is passing backwards and sideways, says Temi. It doesn't matter which way you're going, but as long as the action, you're not losing possession. The losing possession is the one that gets up my goat, if I'm honest. Tony's saying that's my boy. New gen, good at FPL drafts. What I would say is just because you're good at FPL doesn't mean you're necessarily better than someone else at football knowledge. Everyone has their own football knowledge, and just because you're good at FPL and you beat someone at FPL doesn't mean your football knowledge is better than someone else's. That's FPL. That's all to do with assists, yellow cards, stupid stuff, I'm pretty sure. And I can't stand FPL. There you go. I'm so proud of it. Look, I think he's done all right so far. I do want to see the improvement, and I'm sure we will. I think that the big test will be this Sunday, if I'm honest. Salios striker option does not let Kai play as second striker, hence he is better to put left centre midfielder like Ode there and play Kai up front, says Clock Orange. I think he'd be great as a second striker, if I'm honest. But we don't play that system, so it doesn't work. I kind of agree, but at the moment, we are kind of shoehorning him a little bit, if I'm honest, which isn't always greatest. Odegaard, brilliant. Don't listen. I'm not having a go at Odegaard. Just so I'm putting it out there. I'm not having a go at Odegaard. I'm protecting Kai. We need to say that when Jesus is in there, I think two who should truly be in that spot: Kai, ESR, Tross, or Vieira. It's whoever does the best on form at the moment. I'd say put Vieira on there because what he did coming off the bench, I'm quite happy for him to. Because to be honest, Casemiro can be got at really easily.
I still think Kai will start. By the way, I don't think he's going to be dropped. Yeah. But I feel like we see a difference when we use a back 4 that we used last season, Gabriel and Zinchenko. If fingers crossed, Gabriel's still around.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to wait to see what happens on Sunday. I think this is why I've done the preview on the Saturday, because I've done the preview on Saturday just to see what happens on the transfer window deadline, because you never know.
Is the window deadline on Friday?
Yeah, it's Friday it finishes. So when I asked for my lineups, I think Jack, have you already sent me yours? Was it Luke? Luke sent me his, but that he might change his by Saturday. So that's why I've done the preview for Saturday, so everyone has the full roster and everyone knows who's playing. Because he's Chelsea, Sackett and City mistakes that cost us, but no one bothered with them. Exactly, no one seems to. And this is the funny thing, right? And I'm sorry for keeping people longer than I normally do, but remember when we were after Ramsdale, how many people hated him? Now, how many people love him and don't want him dropped for Raya?
Yeah, no, it is the case. Sorry, just to clarify as well, when I say the back four, I'm talking the back four of last season. That's what I said. So we're not talking Partey right back. Partey for me goes on the bench. And people aren't going to want to hear that, but that's where I'd be with it.
No,
That's what
no.
I think will happen. But if it's me, Kai goes on the bench, and it's a slight hint. It's Partey, Rice, and Odegaard midfield for me. So you'll see that on the preview, but that will be my midfield going into the game.
Okay. Yeah, and when there is not an Odegaard in there, fall apart, it always seems to me. He didn't have a great game against Fulham, I'll be honest.
Neither did Saka, to be fair. A lot of our players didn't have a good
exactly.
game.
So I'm not going to defend. I've always said that any reactions I ever do, no matter how much I love a player, if they've had a stinker, they've had a stinker. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, but this. No, he's had a stinker. Simple as that. Our supporters are a disgrace. Yeah, some of our fan base. To be fair, most football fans, unfortunately, nowadays, from all football teams, have this kind of little horrible group that seem to just go personal. Instead of just saying Kai's rubbish, they go personal. There's no need. They're all human beings at the end of the day. Saka lost the ball for the goal, yes, but I still blame Ramsdale for the positioning that he made as well, if I'm honest. He will come good, but Mikel needs to get in his head that Kai is a forward line player, and playing him as an SS isolates Nelly too much, and Nelly has to do more. That could match up to, like, Martinelli isn't also having the greatest start of the season. He has glimpses of it. Look, we'll talk about who we've signed and why we signed him out after the window shut, because I've definitely got some stuff to talk about Havertz. And it's not me picking on Havertz. It's the fact that there's stuff that I know that will not please some Arsenal fans, if I'm honest, but it is what it is, and I have to tell you. Nuno, okay, what's he on about Nuno for? Can't think now, if I'm honest. That sucks on Birev. Our supporters do not want to access the game or changes being made. I still feel we will go through growing pains until we hit 2 games a week per schedule. Do you feel that? You feel we'll have growing pains until we have 2 games a week?
Yeah, I just feel like it's going to be one of those that people are going to need to relax. It's going to be a long season, and if you're getting wound up over 2 drop points, yes, we shouldn't have dropped them, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just,
look, could any of them have predicted what happened at St James's Park? Newcastle go 1 up, Liverpool then get a sending off, and in anything, Liverpool played better with 10 men. Mm-hmm. Honestly, they were they just played so much better than Newcastle. Because I did the watch along, I was amazed, but I wasn't surprised. I kept saying I could see Liverpool winning this because they were so much better without Van Dijk. I'm not saying it was Van Dijk, but they just look better as a 10 instead of 11. It's weird. If he picks that team on Sunday, we will lose. I agree, if I'm honest, if we go with that team that we started on. What day did we play that game now? Saturday. Well, I think we will lose. I think Eddie or Jesus starts. Haven't got a clue. I'm going to guess Jesus because he is back. So I would have thought so. Gabriel back and White back to right back. We've got to wait and see what happens. Like I said, there could be a bid coming in for Gabriel. If it's big enough, we'll accept it. Simple as that. If we play Partey at right back against Rashford on Sunday, it would be a disaster. Exactly why I would not play Partey at right back. We've all said it. Can't play him against someone that's got extreme pace. Grealish, Rashford. There was another one that someone said. Was it Diaz? I think it might have been Diaz. Don't want to play against him because he just wouldn't be able to cope with it. Yeah, you're right, James. Back to OZ, Gabriel, Saliba. White, I agree. I want to hear Partey on bench in Saudi. We gave up a game after subbing Odegaard. No, Odegaard had a bad game. I'll be honest. So yeah, Bobby, was anyone who started any good? Really? There you go. I don't think anyone really was amazing. I think I gave everyone 7s. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't remember giving anyone a great rating on Saturday. But Odegaard didn't have a stinker, almost never does. He does have games where he doesn't perform sometimes. I'm not going to defend every single player, Moss. Don't tell me. Bobby, Højbjerg starts with Buds. Okay. Party. Oh, there's another one. Yeah. Party versus Matoma. That would be a nightmare. Big up to Alan, Billiard, Cedric. As I've said, I've not heard anything at all about Cedric. But yeah, look, there will be a show on Friday night at 7. It will be going on whilst the transfer window. So if I'm crying, you know what's happening. I thought I'd do it on transfer deadline day. I think it would be a better idea. Also, we're back on Thursday at 5 as well for the watch along for the draw for the Champions League. So that should be fun. James, now come on, you can do it now. I'm sure you can.
I did it last time. I was fine.
Where can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, you can find me on X. Literally, where is it? There you go. Right there it is. Literally, that's my @ on Twitter, on X. Literally @ James Armoury TV. So that's where you can find me, or occasionally on here when I want to talk a little bit about Arsenal. But yeah,
excellent stuff. Also, what else we're doing this weekend? Oh, geez, we've got the preview for the United game on Saturday evening. Gums trying to have a chat with the agenda lads to try and get a show with those guys as well. So that should be fun. And then we'll be doing the watch along as well on Sunday. So yeah, it'll be really great. Do you feel there will be any incomings? I guarantee there'll be one. I hear it could be 2 or 3. It depends what happens for the rest of the week, but look, a lot can happen. Thought we're doing Champions League draw. We are doing it. We're all doing it. FTSN are doing it. The Armoury are doing it because obviously we're in it, and I'm streaming it to Across the Pond Sports Talk as well. You did good, James. Oh, really nice. Great show, lads. Thank you very much, Tony. We are definitely out of it. I will see you back here on Thursday. Take care, everyone. Speak to you all later. Bye-bye.